This episode is for anyone who's ever felt like they needed a fresh start, who's wondered if they're left behind, or who's trying to love the in-between. Welcome back to the Single Besties podcast. My name is Montana. I'm so happy that you're here. I just moved to London for a bit and I already have learned so much, not just about this city, but about what it means to be single, free, and figuring it out. Sometimes we think we need clarity before we leap, but sometimes the leap is clarity. Whether it's a move, a breakup, a breakdown, a mindset shift, reinvention starts when you choose different. What would your life look like if you gave yourself permission to start over? I had a feeling that this was what I wanted to do, and then I gave myself the permission to do it. And I had never felt more peace, but then I started to get a little bit anxious as things were coming. Like, oh my God, did I make the right decision? Did I do the right thing? And then I've been here less than 4 days and I've been nothing but at peace. So I know that I made the right decision. And the clarity came after I made the decision. Like, I had an idea of this is what I wanted to do, but then I made the decision to do it. And I did it. And then it all became clear. It all started to unfold. So sometimes it just takes one step. Just because you're alone doesn't mean you're lonely. A lot of people think because I'm doing all these solo travels, surely I have to be alone. Just because you're alone doesn't mean you're lonely. I have been getting a lot of questions oh, how could you travel solo? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Aren't you lonely? And there are times, I'm not going to lie, I'm sure over the next few months, I will have lonely moments. But right now, especially when you first do it, especially that first trip, your phone's off, you're walking through a neighborhood, nobody knows your name. It can feel terrifying, or it can feel like peace. And that's what this week reminded me, that sometimes solitude is where we stop performing, where we just be, where we just allow ourselves to exist. It can be terrifying to be alone, or it can be peaceful. It can be peace. And I think because I've had 3 years of just toxic love triangle, that to find this peace is so beautiful. And I'm so proud of myself for how far I've come in a year, for the peace that I found, for the life I've been able to create. And so feeling proud of yourself, you like that feeling and you want to feel it again. And you want to keep showing up for yourself, keep being proud of yourself. When was the last time you were quietly proud of yourself? It doesn't have to be loud. I'm not boasting. I'm not renting out a billboard, but internally, I'm proud of myself because I know where I've been. You know where you've been. You know what you've gone through. And you should be proud of yourself. You should be quietly proud of yourself for overcoming and fighting those things that nobody knows about that you fought, or for getting out of that relationship, leaving that job, starting that thing. You should be quietly proud of yourself. You should be looking for reasons to be quietly proud of yourself, because just because you're alone, whether that's on a trip or whether you're single or whether you're not, doesn't mean you're lonely. But I do think that sometimes we are lonely because we are not doing things to make ourselves proud of ourselves, or to push ourselves, or to actually feel like we can live that beautiful life on our own, because you can. It's possible. So on this little adventure, it was a flight from hell, but we got here and I immediately just got ready, unpacked my things a little bit, went on a walk to the market, bought some flowers, had dinner with myself, walked myself to dinner. I didn't wait for a date night. I didn't wait for a Hinge match or a Bumble match. You don't need a partner to start living. You need to stop waiting for one. And I think so many times I go back to this, my friend asked me, why would you go to Paris on your own? That's the city of love. Why wouldn't you wait for a man? Why wouldn't you wait for a man? Because here's the thing. What if I never get a man and then I never got to do that? So that if that's true for a trip to Paris, what else is that true for? If there's something you want to do for your life, but you're like, oh, I'm just going to wait till I have a partner. No, what if that's how you meet your partner? I'm going to say that till I'm blue in the face, because what you're putting off, you never know who's there, whether it be a partner, whether it be the person that's going to connect you to your partner. You don't freaking know. What's one thing that you've been putting off until you get into a relationship that you could actually start doing now? Okay, you got it? Now just go freaking do it. So I romanticized my arrival here, took myself to the market, took myself on a date, and then on the stroll home, I ended up meeting 2 people on the walk home. We had a nice talk, sat in the park for a bit, and then walked towards our flats together because we lived in the same area. And that was just beautiful because I do think that traveling solo like forces you to put yourself out there. And that's what it's forced me to do because sometimes I just get so caught up in my routine, so caught up in my everyday, especially working for myself. I get in my client work, I get in everything, and I don't do anything out of the normal. I don't go out of my routine. And I feel like that's how we get stuck. And so being here, it forces you to put yourself out there, obviously in a safe way. Like I'm very, very safe when I do it. If my mom's listening to this, I didn't just meet strangers on the street. It opens up your world. And I think that the biggest thing about life, not even just like life when you're single, life in general is like community. We're not meant to do life alone. And when you're single, you quote unquote are alone. So that's why building community is so important. And that's why this brand, that's why this movement is so important to me. And that's why, like, when I did go on that trip and then I met someone in Amsterdam that I haven't ever met before, just online, it made me realize like this is so much bigger than me. It just started as a TikTok, then a group. Now I'm literally across the world meeting a girl that I met online. So like it's made me just like wanted to go all in because I thought I needed to stay put to build something real. But it turns out the realest things are you. It comes from within you. The group, the messages, the live events. That isn't a brand to me. It is a movement. And I do feel like we're just getting started. It's been like 4 days. I've slept, went to the markets, went to get some groceries. Today was my first day of work. We're just settling in and I'm having so much fun. And I can't wait to like do a recap at the end of June when I leave and go wherever else I go next. I can't decide yet. But we're just getting started because it's not just a brand, it's a movement. Because I do know that just because you're single doesn't mean you're alone. Just because you're single doesn't mean you're alone. Community is freaking everything. So, who is your community? And who do you want to find? The people that you want to find, you have to become that person. Become the friend that you want to find. Be the person you want to find in a partner. Become those people. And then they just happen to God has a way of having them all show up for you. And stop thinking that you're old because you're 30, 35, single. You're building a life that you love. You're the first generation of women that could even have this option to do this. It is a high honor. It is a high blessing to be able to choose your life, to choose your partner, to choose your job, to choose everything. It is a gift that we are able to choose and treat it as such. So, if this episode made you feel anything, something, like you're not behind, like you're not alone, like maybe you should book the flight, then it is doing what it's meant to do. I am not just building the Single Besties for me. I am building it for us. And this is just the beginning. Thank you for watching. I can't wait to show you guys more of London. I love you. I mean it. Bye.